Hi, ladies.
Hey, boo.
Pause.
Hey,
Pause.
hey,
Oh my God.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Shop Culture Supreme. And we missed you guys last week, but we're here to make up for it. And we're up here with, the first ladies of Shop Culture. We got Miss the girl. Sorry. Okay. We got Shante Cherie over here. And we got Miss Stoney, the producer in the house.
How do you do?
Okay, okay. And we got Nick, the producer in the house.
We followed him.
Hey guys, like this Will Smith stuff, like it's really, really driving me crazy because I feel like it was a setup, between Chris Rock and Will. You know what I'm saying? And then he went on ahead and won the same thing that he actually, he won the Oscar for, pretty much, what was it? Venus and Serena's father.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that happened.
Oh, you mean the complete 180?
Yes, 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 yes. So yeah, I just think it's a setup. I mean, the memes that they got out now are just so wrong.
It hurts my heart, honestly. It really does. Because I think it really foreshadowed on something so beautiful that it just took away.
Yeah.
And to see his hurt and his pain, there's mental health there, and now it's a mockery.
Yeah. But then it could also be that he's, tired of, being the clown or the laughing stock.
The mockery
of
his wife, and then you're defending her and you're saying something okay. But he did right defending her, but it's kind of like, oh, back a little bit. But I love the passion when he was like, leave the name out of his mouth.
I don't think I would have did it the Oscar.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
we could have did it in the parking lot. Yeah,
we could have did
but
we could have did it off stage, backstage,
something.
no stage.
Yeah, I actually thought one of my coworkers was like, "Come and look at this," and I'm like, "I don't even know what's going on." I'm like, I keep seeing the memes and stuff, but because I don't really watch TV like that.
So, were you Team Will or Team Chris?
Well, I was like, and I posted it in the group. I'm like, well, what did he say?
You did.
I did not see anything. I did not know anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know any of it.
Let me tell you what he said.
Well, I know what he said now, and then I did.
That was
right.
I think you should say it anyway. So.
Yeah, and I did go back and kind of, I looked on the New York Times and read their whole little story. I had to read about it because I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on. So, and then I was like, oh shit, you watched it? Oh yeah, I watched it. Yeah, after that, and I'm like, damn.
The video that I watched was him slapping Chris and then Will Smith walking or going down the Soul Train line to Forget Me Not.
Yeah.
Wait, you posted that?
Yes.
I was like, oh, she's wrong. She is so wrong for that.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was interesting, but it was
But
like,
let's not forget, this is somebody's life for real.
it is.
And I'm gonna be vulnerable for a second. As a cancer survivor, and to have been in Jada Pinkett Smith's shoes, to know what it's like to not have hair and to bear, and want to feel pretty at all times. And let's be real. This is the Oscars, dress to the nines, dress to the tens. So she still wanted to feel that femininity. But with that being said, we also know there's the jokester. That's his profession. You know.
I think he did kind of cross the line talking about her with the G.I. Jane thing. That was a lot.
But you also saw what she had on. She had on a green dress with a really, really short haircut. As a comedian and as a host, you got to be able to sit in that audience.
She wasn't there as a comedy
She wasn't. What I'm saying is in that position, and I don't support what he said, and I don't
Yeah.
support him hitting. But what I'm saying is I've been in both positions. You got to be able to take it, and you got to be able to
Well,
wear it.
I understand.
That's all I'm
like
saying.
if you're in the front row and you went to go see a Chris Rock show, but this was the Oscars, so the standards should be a little.
But you've also watched other Oscars,
Yeah.
so
But
you know
Chris
that there's
Rock
always
is
some
also,
comedic
he's
relief.
also a
Right.
comedian. And
Well,
that's what he
And
does.
he's also host
But he did
the
a whole
Oscars before.
documentary.
That's all.
About the black girl.
Yeah. So how? So
yeah.
it's contradicting what he was.
I never seen that.
Well, while we're here, ladies, we have a few comments.
Okay.
So we have a Facebook user who's tired of Jada always stealing his thunder. It was his night, and yet the spotlight was on Jada because she's been dragging their relationship through the mud the last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And I heard for real.
I don't know. I tried to look at a little bit of the whole crying thing. I'm like, okay.
I think he was poor because he was chuckling a little bit until he saw that.
but
side
yeah, he
eye.
was like,
tough spot.
He laughs at himself all the time.
He's in a tough spot.
yeah, she did give him the look.
No,
Right,
If
right.
I've ever seen
You
that.
tried it. You going home with Chris or you going home with me? You better pick one.
Okay, we still have some. This is a good subject. We still have some more comments. Nick actually said, they said she looked like the Golden Child. Oh. You know what? They were not in Quebec, okay?
You brought it way back. Oh my God. See?
Now we're talking Eddie.
Okay, moving on.
I had to put some comic relief up in there.
That's right. We all gotta laugh at ourselves.
Yeah. But you know, it is, you know, for people I can understand. You know, and I do have empathy for the people who do have, you know, me, my hair is short by choice. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who not short by
Oh yeah,
Right.
I mean, I have a bald spot right here, and like Stoney, when you go through cancer treatment, you know, you lose. I mean, I didn't lose all my hair, but I lost a good amount of hair where I had to go short because it was so thin, it was so, you know. So I wore my hair to put a tail in the bud. But as a child, I never wore my hair out because I was so conscious about my ears. So, so now, but you know.
So, okay, so moving on, today the topics are, we're continuing to do Women's History Month. We're finishing out the month with our Julie girl here. She's going to give her story. And yeah, so without further ado, Julie girl, let's hear your story. Let's, you know, what's short today?
I'm like,
Brittany, you said it.
this story. Okay, but you said particularly about.
Who is Julie girl?
That's a loaded question.
Uh-oh.
We want all the loaded answers.
I'm the good, bad, and the ugly. No, I don't know. As far as who Julie is, I think for me, I know what I want to represent. I want to represent love, and I want to represent kindness. And if I got to put myself in a bucket, that's the bucket that I'm going to be in. And it comes from the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And so, I don't know. I just try to.
So what are the ugly parts of you?
The ugly part,
Let me know. Taurus.
of course,
And right in the middle of Julie.
We want to use the outside.
oh, my outside voice. My mom voice.
Right. The one she was using last night.
Right.
Let's use that voice.
We can't hear you.
Y'all wasn't on the phone, but I was there.
Okay.
She talks to me too.
Yeah. All in love.
What was your question?
Who is Julie?
Oh, you said
What
Who
are
is
the
you, Gail?
no? What are the no? What are the ugly parts of Julie?
Yes.
What did you say, Cody?
Oh, I said I think Julie was lame.
Yeah, what's the ugly parts of Julie? That question needs to be answered before we move on.
I think the ugly part of Julie is that I don't know. I think just from different traumas and experiences brings out different triggers, and it's those triggers that I can't seem to let go. You know?
No, I don't know about the triggers, but I know what you mean. Yeah. What are your triggers? What are your triggers? Like, I mean, tell us
Yes.
who is. I know Julie girl.
Simply put, what are your flaws?
Yeah,
Yes,
what are
Nick.
your flaws?
One, I don't know. I don't know if it's a flaw or what, but I give 100%. And so that goes good and it goes bad.
Okay.
Because if you're not on your good side, I can get really mean and nasty because I feel like I put so much on the table to where if I get to that point, it's just I don't know, like how I speak online and different things. I think I just am real. I could be real mean and nasty. That's why I don't fight. I don't argue because um, I speak too much truth sometimes to where it's. I know it could be hurtful.
Is there such thing as
There it is.
What? Yes.
well,
Yes, ma'am.
you
Yeah.
learn something new every day.
So
Yes, mama.
my so my dad was firm. My dad was military.
Okay.
My mom is Korean.
Okay.
My dad also remarried a Korean. And so abuse is huge in the Korean culture. So I think partly because of that, there's not affection. There's a different kind of love, right? My dad was, my mom left him really young, and my dad raised us, and my dad was a military, and he was a provider. And being the provider meant he provided. It also meant he wasn't home a lot. And so with that, we were raised from somebody on the outside to where he can he he just wasn't around a lot. And it makes it just makes it hard. And when he remarried me. So now I'm a stepdaughter of a mean Korean, and it was normalized. When you hear some of the comedians talk about expensive words and stuff like that, it's like that in the culture. But there's not a lot of love and a lot of affection, and I think I know what that feels like, and that's what actually led me to be a doctor.
Do you practice your culture with your children? Like, what parts of your culture you practice in your household?
We we don't. Well, I try to be the family oriented, try to eat at the table. We don't celebrate a lot of the holidays. I came here when I was 13, and we tried to live within the community culture, but it's really hard because it was a huge culture shock. Of like just the need to sit down and the lack of respect for the elders. Just something the person, things like that. But it just, an abandonment is a huge thing for me because the upbringing. I was trying to tell you I found out Okay.
Okay.
So my kids and their dad is my family. And then my brother and my brother left. I was in country. So I still visited all the places. And so I didn't have a role model of a mom. And so I think I became the parent I became because of what I wanted. Which many have a hard time making, you know, choices. And so the last 2 years I made it a point to really establish my female connections and to stay close. And that's what I'm telling you. With this person is really important because what happens, you get into these relationships and you can't have your male friends because you don't want to threaten that and still be respectful,
Right.
you know? And then what happens is you get isolated because now you have no friends.
Right. On either side.
And so that's, I love this platform that we're doing because I think a lot of women are in that point because sometimes you want to compete, you get tagging, and I think that's what we connect so well because we're quick to get in the car and be like, oh my gosh, you guys look fly, or oh, you're beautiful, or hey, let's go do this. And I've not really had that before. I kind of do, but I'm busy being a mom.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was divorced 9 years ago, so trying to do it as a single mom. And to where I had to realize I'm a single woman, but I'm not doing it alone. So I'm not a single mom, I'm a single woman. And use the network and build your community, build your village, and get to know your kids' friends and their families, and just utilize the people around you and trusting that. But I'm so guarded because I went to 13 schools growing up. How do you develop relationships? And if you don't develop relationships, how do you develop trust? It's not impossible. And so getting married young, having kids young, you know, I was married for 11 years, but I was just the mom and just the wife. And when I did get a divorce, I walked into Blockbuster Video.
Mm-hmm. When they was still open.
I was putting some dates
When they
on.
was still open, honey.
I sat on the floor and cried because I could take a movie out for anybody but myself. What movie did I like? I don't know. Oh wow. Did I like comedy? I like action. Julie Girl loves action. Me too. Action and comedy. Yes, the Bad Boys is Julie Girl all the way. All right.
I know that you enjoyed the topic. By the way, you are her pictures are lit, y'all. Lit. Out of all the pictures that you've taken, what was your favorite? I seen the picture that you've taken of Russell Wilson. I seen the picture that you've taken another Seahawk.
Yeah, well, 5 years I was basically with the Seahawks, 5 seasons. So name it, I got it.
What is your favorite shoe?
Well, my favorite Seahawks shoot is when they went to the Cardinals game. And, you know, I got that picture with the rainbow. I got that one. I'm just saying, I got that shot. I mean, so that right there is probably my favorite one. Shooting on the sidelines. My favorite, I really love family portraits because I love telling that story. Foster care was the reason I got into photography. I realized I was capturing the first everything. First birthday, first Christmas, first time eating at a table, first time playing sports, first time at the fair, you know. And so I wanted to take quality pictures that I went to school and did it. And my photographer, you start building a network, and I started teaching workshops, and so I love families, but man, I've been falling in love with Disney Plus.
I'm a bookie.
I'm going to too.
And I
No,
I
wait a minute.
I just did my first guide boudoir and talked about lit. I have not posted those, but those.
Have you ever done a couple boudoir?
Absolutely, those are amazing too. Because I'm not a sexy person. Okay, I'm not
Yes, too.
sexy.
I've seen you
God.
done that.
Well, she's sexy, but she's not.
You might not even try, but you ooh sexy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But I just put on.
You'll make her turn all the way red.
Good.
Just stop.
But I know how to take pictures of sensuality. I can because I'm a storyteller.
Right.
And it's crazy because the last boudoir sessions I did, none of them was like about I want to be sexy or for their men or their women. It was one was going through the divorce, the other one's at a pivotal moment. And to be able to capture that is what's strong, and that's the story I want to tell. So I'm a different kind of photographer. I have everybody look at my work first because for me it's not about a pretty picture. It's about being authentic, and the biggest compliment is when people hit me up and like, man, I feel like I know your client. That is everything for me.
You know what? I did see a boudoir picture. It was an African American woman. She it looked like maybe she might have been embarrassed or what, but the story behind the picture, she's kind of hiding. She might have been full figure, but there was definitely a story.
Can I
you know what I'm talking about?
Let me tell you this.
It looked like there was a story there.
So the story on that, she calls me and she says, I'm going through a divorce
Boom.
and I just want to do this for me. I said, cool, whatever, let's do it. So we went there, she put on her lingerie, we were having fun, and she was sitting by the window, and I said, look out and look where you want to be. And she started getting emotional. I said, it's not about where you are now or where you've been. Where do you want to be? And let's tell that story. She started crying. I was like, okay. What did I just then do here? So I sat her on the bed. I said, that was the bed post. I said, grab the bed post and you guys your strength right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath. And this is about you right now. It's not about anybody else. It's not about you being a wife. It's not about you being a mom. This is about you embracing you and knowing how powerful you are and how strong you are and never to give up. And this is your moment. So exhale, let it all out. And she started falling.
Now look how confident and passionate and assertive you are talking about what you love to do.
Right.
Do you guys see this?
We need this all the time.
So the I started
The power of passion. That's a t-shirt. Yep, y'all know this. I did a t-shirt thing. Power of passion. Boom.
Yeah, and I started just tearing up for her, but I was so proud of her because once she exhaled, literally everything just came, and then we had fun.
Yeah.
Then we had fun with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I actually did you know what, and that's a conversation.
Good for you, Deanna.
I actually did a boudoir shoot, and I got the photos, And there was an issue, like my barber, me and my barber, we got a good, relationship, and, he's my confidant, and, so I showed him my blue bar picture. And they were classy. Matter of fact, I'll show you guys after the show. But them boudoir shoots are really, really good.
Very
Empowering, very empowering.
And people think, oh, it's just about sexy. I'm like, no, don't bring bras and underwear. This ain't no swimsuit shoot. It ain't, no. But yeah. But I've done couples, and still, it's that storytelling. It's about that woman just embracing her man, and it's just I've been partial to those lately.
It sounds like it does something for you too.
It is, because I want to tell you a story, and if I can just freeze time for you, that's what it is. Even with the kids, I do family shoots. I'll take the little JC Penney types of shoots, but letting the kids go down the slide, run around, laugh, play, the interaction with mom and dad, or dad and child, or mom and child, or their dog, or just going for a walk by themselves. Those are what I try to capture.
See you guys. Julie girl, she's awesome. She's definitely awesome. And you know what? Thank you for your story. We're going to move on to, actually, you said something about...
Let's just do these comments before we move
yeah,
on,
okay,
because several of them were... Julie, you have some really, really good... we have some really, really good people around that like to, let's see. We're all well loved, but we got a bunch of hearts coming on. And I was displaying this, but I didn't want to interrupt the flow. But you've been doing a great job. You told Deanne's story. She can actually relate to you very well.
Hi, Deanna.
Let's see what else.
Trina.
Oh, you guys have her crying right now, so we're gonna have to get you a tissue box too. But it's very powerful. So
Trina.
Hey, there's beauty in crying, so it's okay.
And Kia.
Cleanse that soul.
Hi, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you.
You gotta make sure we're interactive.
Don't be starting no trouble.
Sorry, sometimes I'm listening too.
So you did mention about being a single mom, and the next topic which is connected to you as well, solo parenting versus single parenting. Let me explain let me give you the definitions, and then we can take it from there. Solo parenting is a person who is bringing up a child or children on their own, which I take that to mean in any child. If a grandma is raising her grandbaby, if an auntie is raising, her niece or nephew or whatever, that is solo parenting. Single parenting is a parent who lives with the child or children and no husband, wife, or partner. So, solo parenting versus single parenting. Which one do you categorize?
I don't categorize myself in either one, but I've been in both. I once had where I was on babysitting for 6 months, did not have a car, was going to school, working full time, and that was hard. I, it was so hard, and I must have looked so pathetic having a baby in a car seat at a bus stop in a snowstorm, because everybody wanted to offer us a ride. But I had to do what I had to do. I knew I was going to get my education. I knew I was going to work. That was non-negotiable, because I had to break my own generational and that was important. I know what it's like to be married and have a house full of kids, 7 kids, up to 7 kids, doing foster care. to not stop being foster care, and then they go with dad. And now I'm an empty nester. And if you're only thinking yourself as a wife and a mom, how do you not fall for depression or anxiety or feeling alone or how do you not? Because now you just took away my purpose.
Yeah.
And then when they did come back, feeling like, oh man, I stayed home for the last 5 years. Now I gotta work and take care of my 3 kids and still be a good role model and still do the homework and still cook dinner and still try to make ends meet, but divorces aren't pretty. They're not pretty. And and we all want to take ownership of our kids. Because they're our babies, but they're not. They're linked to us.
Exactly.
And I had to change my mindset of God picked these three because he feels like I can do my best. But if I let my ego, my selfishness get in the way, I'm doing a disservice. So then their dad and I were in school together, and he has the same mentality. He let his ego go, and we have a parenting plan, and we're both Tauruses, so when I get my hot head and he gets his hot head, we go, what does the parenting plan say? Let's regroup, and we won't talk for a week, and then we say, what's best for the kids? I've given up many holidays where I literally, Thanksgiving is my hardest. Sometimes I don't get out of bed. I cried all this last Thanksgiving because I don't come from a big family. Half my family is in Korea. So what do? I stay in bed and just be by myself, but knowing I'm making the best decisions for my kids because their dad has a big family, full of cousins, full of grandparents, full of aunts and uncles, and
I just think some sacrifices are really worth making.
they are because my kids are so well rounded right now. They're so well rounded, and they're at that age 22, 18, and 14 now where we allow them to make their own decisions. And so in the beginning, I felt like a single parent, and now I don't because it's a village. Whether he's in the picture or not, there's grandparents. I've been able to make like-minded people and friends, and having those friends becomes family, and so I don't feel like a single parent. I'm a single woman, but I'm definitely not a single parent. And I think we just have to be very patient. Shantae called me, she's like, girl. And what I say, I said, you're doing amazing. And we're hard on ourselves, but they see your effort. They see how hard you work. They see your contribution. They see your compromise. They see your sacrifice. And I promise you that he sees you and he appreciates you and he loves you and knows you are so amazing.
Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, so how do you balance discipline with your children?
I'm mean. I'm the mean one. I give them the look. Remember that ugly side of me? They see that.
Okay.
I'm very, like I said, my dad was military, my mom was Korean. Between the 2 years,
You're not winning.
no, and we just, and I'll be the mean one because it's out of love, and I just want them to grow up and be good people. I don't care what career they have. I don't care what level of education. I want them to be good, kind, loving people. And that's what's important for me.
Do you have a support system?
There it is.
Tony said there was comments in there, and
Yes.
they're my support people, I'm sure, and it's they've always been there. I just didn't allow it. And I think that's for a lot of people. I think my problem is I don't receive because I feel like I have to be strong and receiving will make me vulnerable and I can't be vulnerable. Shante got in the car and she's like, girl, I was mad at you last
I
night.
was mad at you last night. But that's something that I can say to her and her not be, jump out the car like, why not go with you? Get your ass in this car and let's go. And
Like,
you
I
go
tell
listen
you
to
why.
me ramble
And then
on
we
our
started
way.
talking and then she was like,
I can't even be mad at you anymore.
But you know what? This is what a family is. You know, we have our down times, we have our up times, we have our fun times, we have our sad times, but we get back together and that's
doing it together because we're stronger together and you have to ask for help because people want to help. Your support people want to help. But if we don't ask for it, how do they know? How do you don't? Because Sharpay said, I'm gonna think she's got this in the bag, but when she says, Julie, how do you do this?
Yeah.
I can speak a life into her. And she'll receive it. And I need to do that because if I don't receive, I'm blocking somebody else's blessing that they're trying to give me. So I'm blocking both of our blessings because I won't receive.
Well, I know you spoke like it to me. I was going through, when I was going through this past week, um, the message that I got out of it was just, you know, Julie girl. I look forward to your positivity. I look forward to, the encouragement, the upliftment. I just look forward to, you two. I just look forward to being in you guys' play.
Okay, so let's get to the nitty gritty.
Okay, the nitty
Okay,
gritty.
no. Let me ask.
Okay.
Okay, so for somebody who is new to this whole single parent thing, right? Was married for 23 years, so it was me and him, right? I had somebody to fall back on.
So you had a side piece.
Oh my God! Right, okay.
But
No,
but
but
you said you had somebody to
Her
fall back
husband,
on.
her husband, for parenting.
My bad.
Insert foot here.
Right.
My bad.
I love you.
No, and as somebody who is doing this new, like by themselves on their own, trying to, like you said, mold this kid. Oh my God, he's fucking amazing, my son. He's amazing. Oh my God, my chocolate baby. Everybody touch him.
He is chocolate.
Nobody touch my chocolate. Oh, I love that boy. What is some good advice that you can give to somebody like me that's like brand new? I don't know what to do half of the time. Like you said, he sees me because he knows mom is always moving, but and will give him anything. But as far as like the discipline, the one-on-one, because you have three. I only got one. I mean, so how do you manage that whole, especially the one-on-one thing? Because I knew you and Abby girl, we had talked, and you were like, we're doing a mommy-daughter day, stuff like that. I mean, he likes to hang out, but he don't really like hang out with me. He's 17, so he likes
But
to do
he's going to remember
own stuff.
It's instilling consistency and a tradition. And whether or not, and I did this in my foster since I was 16. Every day they got their own day. Today might be Chocolate Day. Tuesday will be Carmen Day. Wednesday will be Stony Day. Thursday will be Nick Day. And Sunday was we rest, we went to church, and that was our day.
Yeah.
And you have one, so maybe it's just taking one day out of the week.
Right.
Phones away.
Yeah.
This is you and I.
Yeah.
But my advice is trust yourself. Trust know the guilt is not your burden. And you're good enough, and the guilt is not yours. It's not your burden to carry. And don't over, don't like try to overcompensate.
Yeah.
Because then you're trying to fill the void,
Yeah.
but it's fill the void, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And discipline's a must because now you're creating boundaries.
Right.
And just because there's something, he didn't lose a mom, he didn't lose a dad. The parents dissolved the marriage.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And to trust yourself and know that guilt is not yours to carry.
Right.
And I did that. I overdid because it was like I felt guilty because I asked for his divorce.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I asked it, but I do this to the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we didn't do it to the kids. Because sometimes, like their dad and I, we're great now. We weren't great married, but we're great together as parents.
Gotcha.
And of course, whatever it is, don't talk bad about each other, right? Because it's still half them. So yes, you get frustrated, but not because your son is that.
Right.
Because then he's gonna feel like he has to be the man of the house,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not.
And in a lot of, and I have to say this too, in a lot of Black households, the youngest, the son is automatically the man of the house.
You can't put that pressure on them.
And that was what I was saying. Like in a lot of Black households,
So it's a
that
Korean
responsibility.
household. It's the first son,
Firstborn.
and that's why my brother is in a position because my dad's no longer with us. So he felt the burden to take care of the women. But we were raised in the same household, so I'm like-minded. So I'm provide. But my mom and my sister fell into, my mom's sin. She fell into the, you're my son, you're supposed to take care of me. But we're not set up like that here in this state.
Right.
It's too much, it's too hard. She's never got married, doesn't have kids. She's up to 41 years old. The pressure is so much. He's literally got the take it.
So how do you find time for yourself? And what do you do besides taking pictures?
Well, I have my own routine. I pamper myself every Wednesday, whatever it is. If it's petty, I love to go for runs. I'm just signing up to go back to kickboxing. I take my Friday night bath with the candles. Like, I really don't plan anything unless we're going to see the goodie bag.
Right.
We're going to see the goodie bag.
That's like our little thing.
Yeah, but that's so self-love because I'm refreshing myself with, friends and sisters and stuff and just being fueled. And without the responsibility, I would like to travel a little bit more. Going out of town when I'm talking like, daughter's talking to Phoenix. That was amazing. I forget what the sun does to us. And going out of town next month in April, going out of town in May. Going back out of town in June, and I don't travel like that.
I don't as long as June 16, 2022, I will.
Ready, set, go.
Oh, that's gonna be amazing.
We showing up and we showing out. That's my graduation. June 16, 2022. Stay tuned for that. Thank you, Julie. We got a question on my phone.
Anyway.
Trina, she says when you were talking about asking for help and the support system and all that, she says she has a hard time asking for help because when she used to, it was back in her face.
Mhm.
Do you find that to be
It's very valid. It's
yeah,
very valid.
it does happen, but there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger picture, and people are just gonna be like that, and they're mean. People are mean, and and sometimes it's for no reason. Because people want you to do good. This is how it's
It
gonna
is
sound.
Oh, wow.
You know.
It's always like that.
Boom!
Yep.
And so when you can find those people that want to see you win,
Right.
like I don't care if we're talking, we're not talking, I like it, I don't like it, I still want to see you win. I might support you on the back end that you don't know about. I'm still gonna support you. But yeah, all the time I get stuff thrown in my face. Because like I said, I was a very, very smart kid. I didn't have a car and it was like, you know what? I'm gonna strip everything from you. Make it. I dare you to make it. And I will. I have nothing to prove but to myself. And if you want to throw it in front of me, go ahead and throw it for me because I don't know. I don't. What you do don't make me shit. So I'm just saying.
Y'all heard it here. You heard it here. Do we have any more comments? Let's do some comments.
Yes, you guys, I'm listening too good today. Too well. Oh, okay. So we have a few. Let's see. Deanna actually agrees with Nick. She says, Shantae, she agrees that if you give your son a little bit of space and let him come to you with things that he might struggle with, or let him ask for your advice, he can
Oh,
still
not that we
agree.
don't talk. Oh, me and him talk.
Right, but let him come to you. As
Oh,
opposed
always,
to,
always. Yeah, yeah. One thing that I've learned is not to be the one to keep throwing questions. I ask him small questions, and then I let him take it from there.
Oh,
yeah,
man, that could be
definitely.
dangerous.
Yeah.
The
It
conversation
can be,
I
but you
had
know
with
what?
my Abby girl
Girl,
last
but
There
sometimes
was
you
a-
just have to just listen. They need an outlet,
night.
and sometimes
And,
there's
and they trust that.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Trust is huge.
yeah.
There was another really good comment. It was, be extra careful. A son husband is detrimental on a boy, young man that can carry into some weirder traits as an adult.
Yep. That's what I said. He's
So-
not the man of the house.
He is
Yeah.
not. I run that house. Thank you.
Yes.
He is. I tell him all the time. You are the kid. You don't have to worry about none of these grown folks' problems.
And I might have, your brother Julie might have related so much to that. You mentioned him being older, and you saw some pressures there. Don't know what the responsibility or how much he thought the responsibility was on him when you guys were younger. But
Well, our single parent was our dad, so it was a little, but he got the pressure. I got the pressure. How to be a woman, right?
yeah,
How to be submissive, how to clean the house, make sure you cook, make sure and because so I had the difficult. I had my brother and my dad, and I was a female in Korea. So not only did I have the dad tell me how to be a woman, I also had the culture.
that you were kind of
I'm the submissive. You know, you what you're told. It's and what was hard for that was I didn't get to have my own family. So as an adult, I might not make the best decisions because I wasn't used to making the decisions. But now I've learned there's no wrong or right way. There's consequences. So what do you want your results to be? There is no wrong or right way. So, you just have to trust yourself that you're doing your best, and your best is always, always going to be good enough. Just don't waver in it and create your boundaries, and don't waver in your boundaries.
And you heard it from y'all heard it from the girl.
Can I add something real quick?
Sure.
So I'm the oldest, and I got to see a lot of crazy-ish coming up. And I had that pressure that you guys are talking about right now as far as having sons and trying to navigate that as carefully and as efficient as possible. And for me, growing up and having all that pressure on you, being the oldest, and it was wild to the point where I was finally able, when I was able to move out, which I was like 17, I left and I stayed away for like 13 years.
It's hard. I was also the oldest, and
Yeah.
I left before I graduated
Yeah.
high school.
And it was probably longer than that because when I left at like 17, 18 years old, I didn't see any of my family, my mom, grandmother, siblings, until I was like, last summer was my first time seeing them since I like left. So
Because you carry that,
it's
and you carry that with, and it's a huge,
And,
huge weight. It's a huge
and
weight.
so when you get away, you're just like that burden. You feel like that burden is off, and so you want to stay away.
Away from
And
Not that you don't
holding the
love your
grudge.
family and you don't love your mom or your whole
pressure.
right.
And that grudge. I tried to go to the military. They told me gain 15 pounds to come back. I still have not made
And
the
see,
weight. I'm just saying. Then the Air Force was like, nope.
It definitely affects how you move because for me, I was moving out of I was navigating it from a point of survival. So and moving like that it can be scary.
Yeah, it's very taxing, and
Right.
I mean, it does something, and you, like you said, you just move differently, and it's like the people that you're supposed to have the role model of all these colored things in your life, like trust and relationships and all these different bonds, and when you don't have it, you get thrown in your life, and you make all these crazy decisions.
And that's where toxic traits comes from.
Right.
So, are we, what are we doing now? Comments? We still reading comments?
Yeah, we're just rounding it out with our comments. There's a lot. Like, we see the helicopter mom. Tell us a little bit more about that helicopter mom. Anybody know about
The
that?
one that's like constantly there, hovering. It's like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Can we talk?
You gotta let
Yeah,
them
yeah, you let them
Oh,
have
the
their
space.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Space.
let them
Okay,
have
I
their
missed that
space.
one.
And for what Nick said, he was the oldest. Now, so Davion's situation is kind of a little bit different because he was the baby. And then we lost Devin and he became the only. He became the center of attention. So I mean that's a whole nother subject. But I mean and not trying to make it seem like he is like, all eyes are on him now, where he could have Big Brother to kind of hide behind to shield him. So he's still learning his he's learning his groove because he's still the baby. He's still the baby, still mama's baby.
and it has to be so good.
No, it's only 2001. Yeah, so it's only been a couple of years. So he's learning that he is, the brother. But I mean, he has his best friends and his cousins, and he has a support system as far as his brothers, right? But he is still, when it's just me and him, he is the only. So that's another thing that I struggle with.
He has another loss.
Yeah.
Within the,
Mm-hmm.
in
And
the,
within the
divorce.
whole.
Yeah.
That's a lot, y'all. That's a lot. But we're gonna work out this whole single parent thing. Like you said, I know, right? But I sure be calling her. Julie. I'm sure what this fool did.
I'll talk to you when you know how to talk to you.
Right.
You, when you go.
When I'm empty nesting, y'all really gonna see me. I'm in.
Okay. Don't want to see. Well, you guys, we really enjoyed you. Julie, thank you, my Julie. I'm gonna call her my Julie.
She's really mine,
We
Julie.
really thank you so much for your story.
Yeah.
You
You're amazing.
you're amazing. Shante.
Okay, so this. Mommy, that's my name.
We love you too, Deanna. We love you too.
Shante,
All the love tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
you guys.
We're gonna send a shout out to Shop Culture, Barry Crosby, creator. We're gonna send a shout out to Barry's Barbershop. We're gonna send a shout out to her who is watching, and let's not forget about the Battle of the Barber 3 Judgment Day. Hit Herbert Burnett up or Barry Crosby for tickets.
And we will be there, so come and see
And
us.
yes, Shop Culture Supreme will be there. So, don't meet us there, beat us there. And on that note, we love you guys.
When's the next meet and greet?
We're
April 10th.
that will be discussed.
April
Yeah.
10th.
But it is a discussion though.
That will be discussed. Further details coming on that. Okay. So.
Thank you.
Oh,
We thought you. We were waiting. I thought there was more.
we love you guys.
Love
and
you.
we'll
Thanks, guys.
see